Okay, so for the first approach, we're going to go back into the sales order, and any of your access methods to the sales order should work the same. You can use VA03, okay, in the command box. You can use VA02, change mode, if you want to go in and look at the differences between, change and display. Create, you got to create an order. It's going to be a little bit slower. That's fine, but any of those is fine, or other methods. So I'm just going to go into VA02, and again, you can get this down through the menu paths as well, like we had shown before. Okay, I'll put in my same sales order that we were using. Okay, and then I'm going to go access the documents. Okay, now whether you're in a sales order, and I could, be on this initial screen in the sales order, in the document, okay, or you could be at the header level in the document or the item level in the document, any of the various functions in the document. This general approach should work across the board in SAP, okay, in the GUI at least. So, and this will be the same too if you're in a purchase order, production order, whatever business process you're using, okay. You can find a field, right? And you just click in that field, and then what you want to do is click on your F1 key, and that's going to give you basic information about the document. And that's one of the ways that you'll learn about the process that you're working on too, is if you're in a whatever business object you're in working on it, just click F1 on each field, and it, with a few exceptions, you'll get some, general help or descriptions on the field. So you can get an idea of what a field's used for, examples, and so on. So you might come across a few cases where there's no documentation, although SAP's done an excellent job at documenting. I mean, we're talking about, literally thousands of fields. So what you might see more of is custom fields, which people have added, maybe you have added to your system, and occasionally you'll see those aren't documented. Okay, the next step after F1, remember I said F1, F4 is to click on the F4 key, or you can also click on the technical information button. It's the same thing as hitting the F4 key. And when I do that, then you're going to get a little pop-up here showing you the table name, okay, and the field name. So now out of the past section, when we went through and looked at each of those tables, now you can see, oh, we were looking at the details on VBOK, and we talked about VBOUND being the key. So now right in front of me on the screen, it's very easy to see, oh, here I'm in the sales order, I clicked on this field standard order, and that shows me the table and the field behind that, okay? Then either navigate or drill down, okay? And you can go right into that table if you have access, okay? If not, you might go back to SE12 and view it that way, okay? But there you can see how easy it is. I was in the application document, and then boom, I can get really fast right down to the table and not only see, okay, there's my sales document, that's the key, all the other header related fields related to that sales document, and maybe not all of these are on that sales order screen because maybe they're more system related. So I can see fields that are maybe more behind the scenes and still use those for analysis too. But this is a great, easy way to get around. That was our header. I can do the same thing. Basically go back to our initial walkthrough on the sales order, and you can look at all these fields. Maybe I want to look at the pricing procedure field because I've forgotten what that field is. I'll do the same thing, my F1 key, and it's going to bring up information on the pricing procedure, and then my F4 or technical information, and there I go. Same table, VBAK, and pricing procedure KLSM, CULSUM, okay? And you can follow this across each of the sections too. So maybe I'm on the overview here, and let's go to the overview screen. From the overview screen, let's go ahead and try one of these fields, and we could try any of these across the tabs. I'll go ahead and grab the pricing date, and we're going to follow the same steps and try F1. And this will bring up a little bit of help information on the pricing date and how it applies to the sales order. Okay, and then once this comes up, I'm going to go ahead right away. Next, let's go ahead and try the same steps from the overview screen. And we'll just use the pricing date here for an example. I'm going to go ahead and click F1 on it, following the same steps. We get a little bit of information about the pricing date. And then I'm going to click on the technical info or hit F4. And there we go. It gives me the VBKD table. So I know from what we had seen in the previous section that VBKD is business data and could be header or item level. And that's why we see it here on the overview is initially we're going to have a single pricing date for the whole order, but then we could go in and change this at the line item level. So items may or may not have the same pricing date as the header level if manual changes have been made. Okay, so following these same steps, we'll go ahead and let's go down and look at the item level as well. And this time, let's go here and we can look at the order quantity or the requested delivery date, the reason for rejection. Let's try that one. Same steps, F1 and then F4. And there we go. We can see it takes me to the line item table. Okay, so we can continue this process, and you could virtually work your way through the entire sales order and find all the fields, tables and fields for all the items that you're seeing in the sales order. Plus more. Once you get down to the table, then you'll see some of the system fields or hidden fields, you could say. But it's a great way to get familiar with the whole process, whatever business object you're working on at the time. Here I'm looking at the schedule line level. I may want to go say, let's look at the material availability date. The date I can start my activities for shipping, when this product's going to be available. And I can try the same thing here, right? F1, F4, and there we go. It's going to show me VBEP. And I can double click or navigate and drill down to that table and look at the details there. If we continue this process, then we'll virtually work our way through the whole object. So on the plus side, you can see how easy that is to get started. And if you don't know where to look or where you're going from the business object, you can find the table, and it kind of gives you a start. And if you can keep on going through the business object until you cover enough, you'll get a good idea of how this thing works together. On the downside, you can see how long that takes. It's a little slow, going back and forth, and it doesn't necessarily show you all the relationships, or there may be other things that you're not seeing on the screen. Okay, but this is always a great place to start. So I still use this frequently myself. Okay, so next section, we're going to go in and take a look and see how to do this the more comprehensive way using the data model.